Hello, darky, my little friend. Nice to see you again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. So, UEFA have come out and said that the UEFA president actually. So this is very reliable. It's not speculation anymore. That they plan to resume the Champions League in the month of August, which approximately is 2 months from now. I can't freaking wait, man. I'm so tired of waiting. I needed a date, or even just a month, or even just a year that the Champions League returns. But obviously, we know it's going to be behind closed doors. But I have a few things I want to talk about, a few ideas of how they can go about it, and how these little things can happen. But let's first of all talk about it. First of all, Lyon still have to play Juventus. So I think two teams have already gone through to the quarterfinals, Leipzig and also Atletico Madrid. And actually another team's gone through. I forgot which team. Oh, Valencia. No, Atalanta. No one cares though. No one really cares. So we have a few teams that have already gone through. Bayern still need to play Chelsea. Lyon still need to play Juventus. Barcelona still need to play Napoli, or Nippos as I like to call them. And Man City still need to play Real Madrid. So that was about 4 fixtures there, right? I think I'm right on that. I think. But the Champions League is basically looking like it's going to return on in August. And also, you have to think about it as well. UEFA need the domestic competitions to kind of start first, because you can't have one team like Bayern Munich who've been playing ready to go with the German freaking fuel and energy, freaking ready to thrash teams, and then PSG who haven't. I mean, then again, PSG. But they're already in the quarterfinals, though, so they would be waiting. And at that time, I'm guessing they'd be training to be match fit for the quarterfinals. And Leipzig as well, they're already in the quarterfinals, but they would still have an edge over whatever team they play because they've been playing before. And us, Bayern, we would have been playing. So when we end this season in about June, end of June, around that time, I think that's when the season ends. I think we should be ready for the Champions League, because we'll have a month to pretty much prepare. It's like the World Cup. Players have done this before. It's nothing new to them. They've done it. It's just like the World Cup, man. And if you can have a World Cup camp thing, you can definitely have a situation where it's not really a camp. You still will travel around Europe. You'll still go around and go to stadiums and actually be the away team and be in the away locker room. But it's just now it's almost like you're always just with your teammates. You're not going to see your family after every game. So it's basically like the just like the World Cup, actually. So what's going to happen? Who are favorites to go to win the Champions League, to go on and do the thing? First of all, I've been thinking about this. Will this Champions League, or even the league titles this year, mean less because of the No, it won't mean less. In a year from now, we'll look at these Champions League titles and value them the exact same way we'll value any other Champions League. In fact, people might even go, wow, it was tougher to win it because you weren't as fit, and it was more competitive because there was no fans and there was no emotion behind it. It was just pure football. And it's going to really determine which team dominates this decade. I think the teams that get to this final will be the teams that dominate this decade in the Champions League. If you think about it, Real Madrid have dropped off their level, and they're not that same team that they were a few years ago, right? Barcelona are in these guys could give out Lionel Messi for freaking who? I don't know. These guys are stupid. They're planning on giving out Arthur, Rakitic, Semedo just for Lautaro Martinez. How stupid are Barcelona? But they're a club that are massively affected by this. Bayern Munich, we haven't struggled financially, and we won't be struggling financially. But if you look at it as well, Juve aren't doing well financially because they've been doing so much free business and little signings here and there that wage budget is now fully the wages of Ronaldo and Dybala and all these guys and Rabiot for 300k a week or something like that are really starting to pile on, and they're going to struggle in this financial crisis. But Bayern haven't. Our players have in fact donated money to each other, or to Kimmich and Goretzka, to raise like 4 million for the German hospitals and the fight against coronavirus. So Bayern have not suffered from this. We're one of the clubs that are going to benefit from this. We're going to benefit massively the beginning of this decade. You know how crazy we're going to buy Sane, we're going to buy Dest, we're going to buy player and Havertz next year, and hopefully Upamecano the year after, the same next year. Look, that's 4 players. You basically have your whole team set up for the next decade. You'll win the Champions League at least 3 times. by doing that. That's what Real Madrid did so well. We should have dominated last decade, but they did it so well. But like I'm saying, the teams that get to the final, whether it's PSG or whatever team it is, that get to the Champions League final, those are the teams that are going to dominate. Because they're going to be like, hey, we got to the final. If Bayern win this final, which I'm very confident we'll get to at least, with Hansi Flick, the way we're playing, the way we manage ourselves in big games. I'm not saying Chelsea were this big team, but they were away from home. We went in we didn't even let them look like they were scoring. They had one chance, but it wasn't a chance because they didn't even shoot. But they put one ball in that it could have been a tap-in. But like other than that, we dominated. And we've done so well in the Champions League this year. Lewandowski, think about it. The ambition is there for us. Every single player in our squad wants to win the Champions League. Whether it's Thiago, who has been here since 2013, and I'm sure in his head he's like, I have to win the Champions League because I want to really solidify myself as a Bayern legend. Because let's think about it. Robin and Ribéry would not be as legends of this game if they hadn't won the Champions League in 2013 and did what they did to Barcelona and did what they wouldn't be. Because people will always point the fact that, oh, he was a great player, but he never won the Champions League. Because let's be honest, the Champions League is the most important cup competition for a club. I don't care if you love the Bundesliga. Let's be honest. If you don't win the Champions League, people aren't going to look at it and go, even Man City are winning the Premier League. No one cares because people always say, oh, you didn't win the Champions League. Because that's the most important competition. People kept calling Liverpool the best team in the world, not because they won the Premier League, but because they won the Champions League. It's the most important competition as a club. It's the most historic. It's the most prestigious tournament for any club. It's the most viewed. Also in terms of brand reputation. If you win the Champions League, you automatically gain an extra 20 million on Instagram. Your players become more valuable. Every single thing about the Champions League. Like, it's harder to win in terms of, it's more like there is an aspect where you have to build a certain type of team to win it. You can't just play the way you play a league game. You have to almost have a new level of motivation when it comes to the Champions League. Because some players, that's why it's so important for the league to be competitive. Which is why this year, the Bundesliga is the most competitive league. And guess what? All the Bundesliga teams have done well in the Champions League so far. Even though Dortmund lost, they still beat PSG 2-1, which shows the levels in the Bundesliga, which does show. And PSG had to find a response. So for me, right, I think our players are so ambitious to want to win the Champions League. And it's so important for them in the future. Lewandowski wants to win the Ballon d'Or. I don't care if he's come out and said it. The guy, when he was top 10, sitting in the front, I bet you in his head he's like, I want to win this so bad. And he's performed so well for us in the Champions League. Top scorer across European competitions right now, I think. Ciro Immobile has more league goals than him, but he has more goals in general. He's going to want to win it. He's going to want to get to the final and win it and score more goals. That's why Lewa played with an injury versus Chelsea. Do you think it was just a coincidence? He risked himself getting injured for around a month. Just so he could play and score, and he did give 2 assists and a goal. That's what he wants to do. UEFA or Ballon d'Or is going to look at that and go, he did do that, and they're going to give it to him. It's almost going to have to happen. And look, individual words, but Lewandowski has been so brilliant for us. He almost deserves to win it. He's been the most consistent striker over the last 5-6 years. He's since 2013. He's only Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are ahead of him in goals in the Champions League. He's level with Benzema in the Champions League, and he's going to score more goals than Benzema in the Champions League because we're going to get to the Champions League final, and he's going to score 5 in the final. I don't know. But my thing is with Lewandowski is he want to win it. Thiago want to win it. Kimmich, our players, Davies, they've all come out and said, we want to win the Champions League. It's our biggest ambition. Davies said we have a huge chance at it because Liverpool left. And I forgot, Liverpool left the Champions League. They did. They fell to Atletico Madrid, and when you think about it, Liverpool were the only team that I've said on the channel it's too many times to count. I said the only team that I'm scared of is Liverpool. I said this with Hansi Flick in a 2-leg tie, we would beat Liverpool, but in a final they would beat us. My logic behind that is Liverpool are meant for finals. Like, of course they've lost a few, but the way they play with such energy all the time, the pressing, the determination. They're meant to be playing as a final team. They didn't play well versus Spurs, but against Real Madrid, they played so well. Against Barcelona in the Champions League, they played so well. It's like every game for them in the Champions League is like a final. Even Atletico Madrid, they played well. But what I'm saying is Bayern, we're a consistency kind of, we build chances. We're in the Champions League. You need to go for you get one chance, you score it. That's what Liverpool are on. And that's what I said. They're a final team. Real Madrid are a final team. They're not consistent in the La Liga, but they will get to the Champions League final. See, it's you have to be conditioned different. Under Jupp Heynckes and also one season under LVG where we went to the final in 2010 and under Jupp in 2013 and 2012, we were a final team. We were the team that would put you to the sword. We would park the bus against Barcelona, slap them up 4-0, 3-0, and we would get 7-0 aggregate on win. That's what you when I say a final type team, where you can play finals. Of course, you can have your beautiful football in the Bundesliga and, you know, less important games in the group stages of the Champions League. But when it comes down to the actual Champions League knockout, where it's about freaking win or die, you have to have a certain type of kind of arrogant, some certain type of play about you that no one else has. Real Madrid have their BS kind of thing where they'll just push you and break shoulders by accident. And you know what? I think that this season we have it. But back to this, PSG or Man City are the only actual teams that I see in there that can actually hurt us. And that's not really something I'm considering, because PSG don't have a better defense than us, right? We have one of the best left backs in the world, and Pavard, very, very balanced, right? Or putting in, I mean, if you match us one versus one against that PSG team, you can only look at Neymar and Mbappe. But even Mbappe, Mbappe doesn't perform well in big games, right? Have you seen it? When it matters, Mbappe doesn't, and that's not his fault. He's a brilliant player, but it happens with strikers. People who keep saying, why does Lewandowski never score three goals in a big game? Why does he never score? It's not his job to score in these big games, because first of all, I mean, Mbappe too, Suarez. Why do you think every single striker always struggles in big games? Because it's the defending. Bigger, more, teams with better defenders know one thing: crowd the striker, and they won't score. And that's when you need your Leroy Sané's, your Serge Gnabry's, your Kingsley Coman's, your Perisic's, your Coutinho's, the wingers, the attacking midfielders, your Mullahs to step up. That Chelsea game, in another game where we don't have Hansi Flick, we have Nico Kovac or something, we don't beat Chelsea the way we did. But what happened is Lewandowski, the relationship with Gnabry, always building. It's been building for a long time. He just switches with him. One move later, Gnabry scores. You're like, well, why didn't Lewandowski? But he gave an assist. That's what happened. That's what your striker should be doing in big games, because you know there's no space in the center. You have your CDM, Casemiro, someone big, strong, powerful who's going to be on you, right? You have two center backs, Varane, Ramos, always on you. You can't score. Liverpool, they had Lovren, Van Dijk, Fabinho, whoever it was next to him. And then they would have Fabinho in the CDM role, or Henderson, someone like big, powerful. You can't score, right? So that's when you need Gnabry. And Gnabry played well against Liverpool. Too late. He did play very well, but the goal we scored was only because of Serge Gnabry. But that's when you need that winger, that X factor, someone that shot from outside the box, from a James Rodriguez or Coutinho, when they're giving a little bit of space. Why do you think Messi does so well in these big games, right? And people are like, oh, Messi, but he gets a lot of assists. He gets a lot of goals against the bigger teams, right? If you look at who he scored against, he scored so many goals against the Arsenals. Because why? Messi's the X factor. They're crowding Suarez, right? Because they don't want a striker to head. The center backs will be focused, and then they'll focus on Messi. But he has this sweet feet thing where he just turns and he's past three players and he slots it in, and he's always in the right positions. But that's what I mean. Lewandowski, right? Mbappe. That when you look at the PSG team, I think that Lewandowski and Mbappe, Lewa is a better striker than Mbappe is. That's facts. He's the best striker in the world. Mbappe is a brilliant talent. And I think that if you put them against each other, Lewandowski would win 6 times out of 10. That's it. And then you move on, Neymar, Gnabry, right? Neymar is going to have that X factor. That's what I mean. X factor. He's going to bring something different, some saucy skills. He's going to bring something else. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Gnabry is also going to bring something else. But you'll look at it. You'll see. Well, man for man, we're not that. What we aren't in the attack. PSG are stacked. They have the Cardis. I mean, I don't even rate Cavani that much, but they have those strikers, the Di Marias, those X factors, those wingers. But what Bayern do have that they don't is a midfield that's proper freaking composed. We have Thiago and Kimmich, who can control the tempo of a game like their name was freaking Fahrenheit. Jesus Christ, they can really control that temperature because that's nice. And then we have a better defense. But that's the only team that threatens me, man. That's the only team. Even Leipzig threatened me more the same as PSG because they know how to play these big games, these kind of finals, and put the determination. That's what it's telling me. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, I had an idea of how I wanted to see the Champions League trophy or the Bundesliga or DFB Pokal, even the Premier Leagues and all these things celebrated. Whoever wins these trophies, I don't want them to be in an empty stadium lifting. No. What I want is, even in a final, Champions League final, you know how the trophy is always on the side so the players know what they're playing for, right? Nope. Nope. Because you're not going to have a Champions League. Honestly, I have a feeling that they should just, if Australia, I know it sounds really weird, but if Australia can, or a country like New Zealand with no coronavirus cases in August, right? It's going to be in Turkey, obviously. Even in Turkey, if they say, you know what, you can have fans in the stadium, yo, I would go for it and have the whole ceremony, have everything. People think that just because Europe is struggling with the coronavirus, not everyone is. South Korea might have a stadium they want to go and say, okay, you can bring this many people, you can have this many. You know what? If that's possible, then it is. But if it's a thing where the Champions League final will have to be played behind closed doors, don't bring that trophy. Here's what you do. If you're UEFA, take that trophy, right? It's just I don't know. Just do whatever you do with that trophy. Put it somewhere, right? They have them play the game like a final, right? It will be a final. And then here's the little twist. Whoever wins that, you freaking mail the trophy to them. To their museum, to the Bayern Museum, to the Bayern freaking stadium address. I don't freaking know. To Karl-Heinz Rummenigge's house, for God's sake. Just mail the trophy to the club. PSG, mail it to, or Leipzig, whoever wins the Champions League, or even Man City. I don't care if I talk about Man City like they're gonna win it. They're not gonna win it, but mail it to whoever wins it. And here's the twist, right? They won't even care about that if they won the Champions League in the stadium. Just tell the players, no, we're not celebrating. And then next season or a few months, where everyone is allowed in stadiums, here's what you do: you just make a little date on the Bayern website, say stadium trophy ceremony celebration Champions League and DFB Pokal and whatever, if you win the treble, that is. And then that's all you do. People, thousands of people will show up, and you just have a nice ceremony in the Allianz Arena it's like a concert. It'd be like just thousands of people. They won't, but you know what? I would make it free, to be honest. Like, I would make it free where you'll have thousands of Germans ready to just rumble. Obviously, they'll buy tickets, obviously, but oh God, PSG, Liverpool, you could do the same thing with the Premier League. Obviously, they lift the Champions League for the first time. The players will have the feelings, right? They'll know that they did it, and that's where I think the Champions League, that's how it should be celebrated. I'm tired of this thing where I don't want to see the players lifting a trophy with no fans and then the pictures. I want to see the pictures, like legit, of them lifting the Champions League for the first time. They'll get their medals at the same, stadium. It should be a whole ceremony. An actual winner ceremony. It should last like 2 hours where they get actual medals. They should have the UEFA Champions League ceremony. I'm telling you. And what they should do is, whatever teams played in the finals, low-key, they should have like a little, like Dortmund versus Bayern in the Champions League final at Wembley. They had the little gladiator clash or whatever it was at the beginning. Have that, but whoever won the Champions League would win that, or have a little match where the winners, it should be a whole show for the fans, man. It should be a whole show. It's gonna be so fun. Like, it's gonna be the players also seeing the trophy for the first time ever. They should be told by the club to never mention the fact that they won the Champions League. And guess what? On their list of honors on all these websites, UEFA should make it publicly known that Bayern Munich or whoever won the Champions League has not won it, or the DFB as well, has not won it. until that date where they celebrate it and people in front of fans and there's actual passion, there's actual lifting of the trophy. And then I say that trophy has been lifted. Because I'm not gonna freaking even think about a trophy with no fans. But obviously we will still play the games, we'll still play the finals, etc. But that's how I see it, man. That's how I think UEFA should go about it. And like I said, Bayern, we are favorites. I mean, even not because we returned first. Before this, we were favorites. We have some incredible tactics in big matches. The way we dismantled Chelsea, the way we've played this season up until this time, we are favorites. We've dismantled and passed every challenge so far with Hansi Flick. We've gone to London. I'm telling you because, look, Chelsea were a team in the Champions League. They got through the group stages versus Ajax, Valencia, some good teams, right? They come to us. They have 0 chances. I mean 0. We absolutely dismantled them, which is why I'm saying this, and I'll say it again. Let's have the Champions League. Let's get it this time, man, because we need it. Lewandowski wants the Champions League more than Kylian Mbappe. I don't even think Mbappe wants to be a PSG. Lewandowski could have gone to Real Madrid, and I bet you he would have won 2 Champions League by now. But what did he say? Lewo said, you know what? I'm comfortable at Bayern. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world, and there's no reason for me to go to Paris Saint-Germain or Spain, Madrid for that matter, or Barcelona. He said it. Lewandowski said it. So if Lewandowski, one of my favorite players, man, in that team, I think he's going to be, if Lewandowski lifts that Champions League one time, he's going to be regarded as one of the best strikers in Bayern Munich history. Because look, we always will think of Gerd Müller because he was in the seasons where we won 3 Champions League in a row, right? We'll always have him in our heads. He won a Ballon d'Or for himself. Imagine Lewandowski. It's not just because of him. It's a fan thing too. We want to be proud of our player. I was so proud of him getting in the top 10. I felt like a few more Bayern players should have gotten in there because we won a double. But let's be honest, no one really deserved to be in there last season. Lewandowski was in there though. And it felt so lonely for him because there was like 3 Liverpool players. He was only talking to De Ligt. Imagine he's the one that wins it. I would cry. Honestly, I would cry. Ribéry should have won it in 2014 or 13. Was it? Yeah, 13. Or it was into 2014. But yeah, should have won it, but didn't, and that's it. That's how it is, man. I think that Lewandowski deserves to win the Ballon d'Or. And I'm not saying, oh yeah, give it to him for no reason. What I'm saying is, let's win it. Bayern Munich should win it. If the Champions League criteria is to win if the Ballon d'Or criteria is to win the Champions League, then you have to win the Champions League. If that's it, that's it. If it says that the best player that contributed to the best team winning the Champions League, then I'm fine. Because Lewandowski's our best footballer, most consistent over the last few years. He's it. He's the guy. So if we win the Champions League, the best trophy that defines that we're the best team, then he should definitely win it. And if we win the Club World Cup, the Super Cup at the beginning of the season, and then we go all the way to December or whatever the awards are, he should be front runner. He's going to win it if we win the Champions League. Because people forget, when you win the Champions League, you get automatically entered into the UEFA Super Cup. And if we won the Champions League, we would go against, let's say, Bayer Leverkusen in the Super Cup if they win the Europa League, or Manchester United or Inter Milan. Let's say we win that game, which we should. God damn, I want to win every single damn trophy, right? We win the UEFA Super Cup, which is basically a mini Champions League. It's like a baby version of it. It's better than the Europa League, and it's bigger than it's little. It's like a middle child. If you win that Super Cup, the Bundesliga, DFB Pokal, Champions League, you win the Club World Cup. That's 5 trophies in 1 year for Robert Lewandowski. Bro, God, you got to get the Ballon d'Or. Half our players have to be in the Ballon d'Or conversation. Alphonso Davies has to be in the Ballon d'Or conversation. I know it sounds really weird, but if Davies, come on, he'll be in the top 50 at least, top 20. Now think about it, bro. If he keeps playing the way he is, getting the assist in big games, etc. Also, think about it. I mean, we have that X factor. Davies is an X factor, right? The reason we succeeded so well with Flick is because of a player like Davies. We're not susceptible to the counterattacks anymore. I can relax whenever we get hit on a counterattack because I know that Davies' pace is just going to show up somewhere, and it usually does, right? Mason Mount went through on sides as well. Actually, he was off sides, but Davies still tracked him, bullied him into freaking giving him the ball, and even made a great tackle to stop it from going in. That's what Davies is on. That's the kind of fire this guy's freaking, that's in his soul. And, yo, you have to be in the conversation. Thiago will have to be in the Ballon d'Or conversations because he's one of our best players. Like, Liverpool got all these players in there, and I think it will happen with Bayern. But I hope everyone agreed with me. Maybe you'll think, maybe, let me know what you think on the UEFA thing. But, look, you know what I want to try? Yeah, thank you. BayernNow, just subscribe. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. But yeah, man, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. You know, it's kind of crazy that, first of all, when I did the match watch along, I genuinely had this feeling in my head that I would sit here for 2 hours and no one would watch or even care. But I was like, legit, it seemed like people cared. I was like, hey, y'all care about this? You want me to do watch-alongs? And it seemed like you do. And I thought I'm not someone that can sit and just talk. And I'm so appreciative of all of you that tuned in for it and genuinely just cared about it. And even, thank you. That's all I can say. Obviously, we have the 500 subscriber giveaway. But we have to reach 500 first. I can't wait for that, man. I can't wait to just give back. Because it's not a thing where I'm not making any income or money from this channel. you can't, right? I'm not. But it's just for me. When this quarantine stuff started and Bayern weren't playing, right? I made like what? When Bayern were playing and before quarantine, actually, it's making what? 2 videos a week, right? Maybe a transfer video on Sané, get me, you know, just fun. And then I would make a match match reaction. I always did the match reactions. And this last 2 months where it's been every single day, 2 videos a day, has been, like, for me, it's been so fulfilling because I know that I'm having fun at the same time. I'm so passionate about this. I'm passionate about the club. That's why I'm doing this. I'm so passionate about it. I'm getting all cry, but legit. I wake up and all I'm thinking about is which thumbnail or what can we talk about? And sometimes I sit here for 2 hours. I don't need to, but I want to. That's the thing. I sit here for about 2 hours and I'm making the thumbnail, or I'm making a new graphic to use on the channel. I'm thinking of a new concept. It took me such a long time. Everyone loved the match reaction thing. I'm serious. It took me a long freaking time to even just figure, oh my god, I still have the Signal Iduna Park in there. It took me such a long time to figure out where do I want to, or I was looking at videos of how can I add a timer so people can keep up. So, because I've watched so many watch-alongs and I'm going, well, what time are you on? Because I want to be able to go back to your reaction, or even when I watch the video after, I want to scroll to the reaction based on the time that it shows. And no one had it, so I was like, I looked up videos and I eventually figured it out. And like things like that, it's like I just like doing it. I like improving the content for you, and I hope it's been fun. Well, I know I'm not going anywhere, but I hope we'll stay here forever. I'm not going anywhere, you know. We might not have a video for a day, for a long time. We will always have videos, but I'm enjoying this. I really like it. It's so fun for me, and the reason why I'm doing this 50 subscriber giveaway is because, like, in a weird way, all of you watching, like, have all helped me in a way. Like, I used to do, 4 weeks ago, we did the FIFA stuff every single day, right? We'd stream FIFA, Football Manager as well. And legit, bro, if I wasn't doing that, I would be watching a movie and I would know that, this is not good. Like, I should be doing something else, more productive. I should be interacting with people. Like, I've genuinely just gotten better as a person just being with all of you. Oh, that sounds weird. Oh, yeah, but still, it's true, man. I've gotten better. I've gotten more interesting. You know what I mean? I've gotten quirkier. Like, I've gotten man, I don't know. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Hope you all stay safe, but it's the end of the video. I'm trying to drag it to 30 minutes. That's why I've been saying this touchy-feely stuff. But man, Nah, it's kind of crazy how life is, but I can't wait. I'm glad the team is back. But I'm so grateful. But thank you. Leave a like on the video if you're still watching, because I doubt anyone's gonna watch this long premiere. But thank you all so much for watching. Miyasan Mian. Peace.